you can get to know it, so you can get to know me. Hate it or love it, the underdog's on top, and I'm gon' shine on me. Yeah, go ahead and MVP. I'm Raps MVP. I ain't going nowhere, so you can get to know me. Whoa, from the beginning to the end, losers lose, winners win. This is real, we ain't got to pretend. The cold world that we in is full of pressure and pain. Nigga, now listen to game. Used to see 5-0, throw the crack by the bench. Now I'm fucking with 5-0. It's all starting to make sense. My mom's happy she ain't gotta pay the rent, and she got a red bow on that brand new Benz. Waiting on Shy Money to lane, sitting in the rain, thinking how they spent $30 million on airplanes. When this kid's starving, pack is gone and Brenda's still throwing babies in the garbage. I wanna know what's going on like I hear Marvin. No school books, they use that wood to build coffins. Whenever I'm in the booth and I get exhausted, I think what if Marie Baker got that abortion? I love you, man. Hate it or love it, the underdog's on top, and I'm gon' shine on it. Go ahead and MVP. I'm Raps MVP. I ain't gon' nowhere, so you can get to know it, so you can get to know me. Hate it or love it, the underdog's on top, and I'm gon' shine on it. Go ahead and MVP. I'm Raps MVP. I ain't gon' nowhere, so you can get to know me. I started out at 15, scared as hell. I took 30 off a pad and made them sales as a youth. Man, I used to venture for loot, put them booklets through, and my group of fed up, sapping music diva, out in the niche. I'm a whipper wish and found my peace, and the vibes alright, the thunder down. Been the first for the petty, so forget the ways. Hate it or love it, I'm gon' shine on me. Go ahead and be me. I'm Raps MVP. I ain't going nowhere, so you can get to know me.
To all the ladies in the place with style and grace, allow me to lace these lyrical Dutches in your bushes, who rock grooves and make moves with all the mommies. The back of the club sipping Moet is where you'll find me. The back of the club macking hoes, my crew's behind me. Mad question asking, blunt passing, music blasting, but I just can't quit, because one of these honeys Biggie gotta creep with, sleep with, keep the ep a secret. Why not? Why blow up my spot? Cause we both got caught. Now check it, I got more Max than Craig, and in the bed, believe me sweetie, I got enough to feed the needy. No need to be greedy, I got mad friends with Benz and C knows by the last. True to life players, jump in a Rover and come over. Tell your friends jump in a GS3. I got the honey's by the tree. I love it when you call me Big Papa. Throw your hands in the air if you's a true player. I love it when you call me Big Papa. To the honeys, get him money, playing fellas like dummies. I love it when you call me Big Papa. If you gotta get up in your waist, please don't shoot up. most of these fellas think they be macking, but they be acting. Who they attracting with that line? What's your name, what's your sign? Soon as he buy that wine, I just creep up from behind and ask what your interests are. Who you be with? Things to make you smile. What numbers to dial? You gon' be here for a while. I'm gon' go call my crew. You go call your crew. We can rendezvous at the bar around 2. Plans to leave. Throw the keys to little C's. Pull the truck up front and roll up the next blunt so we can steam on the way to the telly. Go fill my belly. T-bone steak, cheese, eggs, and Welch's great. Conversate for a few, cause in a few we gon' do what we came to do. Ain't that right, boo? Forget the telly, we just go to the crib and watch a movie in the jacuzzi. Smoke L's while you do me. I love it when you call me Big Papa. Throw your hands in the air if you's a true player. I love it when you call me Big Papa. To the honeys getting money, playing fellas like dummies. I love it when you call me Big Papa. If you gotta get up in your waist, please don't shoot up the place. Why? Cause I see some ladies tonight that should be having my baby. How you living, Biggie Smalls? In mansion and Benz is giving ends to my friends, and it feels stupendous, tremendous cream. Get $1 and a dream, still toe gas strapped with infrared beams. Chopping O's, smoking lion optimals, money holes and clothes. All a nigga knows a foolish pleasure. Whatever, I had to find a buried treasure. Soul grams I had to measure. However, living better now, Gucci sweater now, drop top BMs. I'm the man, girlfriend. I love it when you call me Big Papa. Throw your hands in the air if you's a true player. I love it when you call me Big Papa. To the honeys getting money, playing fellas like dummies. I love it when you call me Big Papa. If you gotta get up in your waist, please don't shoot up the place. Why? Cause I see some ladies tonight that should be having my baby.
The underdogs on top, and I'm gon' shine on me until my heart stops. Go ahead, envy me. I'm Raps MVP, and I ain't going nowhere, so you can get to know me. Did you know me? Hate it, love it. The underdogs on top, and I'm gon' shine on me until my heart stops. Go ahead, envy me. I'm Raps MVP, and I ain't going nowhere, so get to know me. Did you know that? On the grill of my low rider, guns on both sides. Right above the gold wires, out 4-5, I'm kill a nigga on my song and really do it. That's the true meaning of a ghost rider. 10 G's will take your daughter out of Air Forces. Believe me, homie, I know all about losses. I'm from Compton where the wrong colors be cautious. One phone call, I'll have your body dumped in Marcy. I stay strapped like car seats. Been banging since my little nigga Rob got killed for his Barclays. Last 10 years, I told Pooh in 95. I'll kill you if you try me for my Air Max 95. Told Banks when I met him, I'm a ride. And if I gotta die, I'd rather homicide. I ain't have 50 when my grandmama died. Now I'm going back to Cali with my Jacob on, see how time flies. Hate it, I love it, the underdogs on top, and I'm gon' shine, homie. Yeah. Stop. Go ahead, envy me. I'm Raps MVP, and I ain't going nowhere, so you can get to know me. Get to know me. Hate it, I love it. The underdogs on top, and I'm gon' shine on it. Hey, go ahead, MVP. I'm Raps MVP, and I ain't going nowhere, so you can get to know me. Hey, from the beginning to the end, losers lose, winners win. This is real, we ain't got to pretend.
Welcome.
What up?
This is our first ever show, the Bitcoin economy. Jody and I, you guys may know us from then, and Rob Wallace over at Bitcoin News. So we're excited to do this collaboration. We're going to be doing this every Friday. If it goes well, maybe we start doing it more days a week, but we want to give Bitcoin away, right? And what better way to educate, talk through what happened during the markets this week. So Jody, explain what we're going to be doing every week here. Or no.
So, good morning, first of all. Second of all, what we're going to do is midway through the show, we'll give you live, code word, passcode. So listen in. This is going to be basic. Then we have, really cool ways to play around with it. You're going to go to 21rates.com/stack. It's in the banner below. We'll also put it up on our Twitter and the comments, and just go in, create a free account, log in, and then you drop the code in there that we give. And then at the end of the show, I think in 45 minutes, we're going to select a winner. And then that winner is going to get paid out in Bitcoin directly. We want to encourage the Lightning Network. We want to encourage peer-to-peer transactions, white paper style. So it is going to be Lightning based, but there's a lot of great free wallets to use. We have some instructions on our website, like Wallet of Satoshi, Strike. There's plenty of options out there. Rhino is a great one as well, that can, accept these payments. And it's a great way to either stack your first Bitcoin or just try out Lightning for the first time.
Rob, welcome here.
Yeah, excited. Let's go. Friday. Just met you guys relatively recently. Figured out that we're in the same line of work, that we both have a passion for Bitcoin. We want to spread the good news. And what better way than getting on the live stream Friday afternoons and just breaking it all down, giving away sats, giving people a reason to celebrate. We're bouncing hard off the bottom, boys. Bouncing hard off the bottom. Another morning where we hit under 100K, but we're back over 101, 102. And I feel good. Bitcoin's in a great place. People are scared. People don't understand what we have here. We're so lucky.
We are lucky. And please, I saw one comment pop up, but if you guys are on X or Twitter, whatever you prefer to say, as well as YouTube, share, ask questions. We'll try to get those throughout the show. Rob, why don't you kick us off? I know you are the Bitcoin news. So What was the biggest story? I saw some arrests. We saw Bitcoin hit under 100K, which caused a lot of, I think a lot of people have sell, right at 100K. So as soon as that hits, people are selling off. What was the biggest news story, though, to kick things off?
Yeah, so before Tuesday was the day that things really went to crap, right? And we fell below 100K for the first time in about 6 months. We've closed above 100K every single day since May, and we've been able to actually maintain that even with these dips this week. But if we rewind before all that, some big news out of France, actually. So France this week, they pushed forward a law that says they want to have unrealized gains taxes on unproductive wealth, right? So French MPs voted to advance a proposal replacing France's property wealth tax with a broader levy on unproductive wealth. So this includes things like Bitcoin, jewelry, art, yachts, property, quote unquote luxury items, the only thing that the French are good at, right? So they want to tax you at 1% for all of the things that you own. So you're gonna have to find a way to pay them for 1% of the property you own, 1% of the Bitcoin. So that means you're gonna have to sell these things in order to pay the tax man if this goes through. Unrealized gains taxes are absolutely absurd. It is a huge disincentive towards savings and capital and the whole entire basis of capitalism. And it really just shows you the point in which we're at with these governments. They're absolutely desperate. They cannot balance their budgets, and the fiat system is it's creaking. The currency is getting weaker because they're printing more debt in order to try to fill these budgetary holes, and they're going to come after your wealth because that's the only.
You get unrealized losses as well, then?
Oh yeah, right. They should pay you back for
Sounds a lot like communism to me. And we're starting to see some of that creep throughout the world right now. I also saw there was a big arrest. So Keone Rodriguez sentenced to 5 years in prison, $250K fine, 3 years of supervised release. For those that don't know him, founder of the Samourai Wallet. And pretty big news. I saw a lot of reactions here on Twitter about that. Jody, any thoughts on arrest? Is this Sam Bankman-Fried? Is Trump gonna give him the pardon?
It's hard to say. I think that if you have either, big following or deep pockets, like Ross Ulbricht, I think going into the election, had a good freedom narrative tied to it. I remember the Bitcoin conference in Nashville that Trump spoke at, I was at, and, there's free Ross shirts they're just giving out, so it's engaging, really the broader political base. Are these guys going to bring that same? I don't know. Like if it's midterms, like maybe it's early to where they're thinking, hey, let's get, let's put this as an, straw man argument. Let's put this as like the enemy. And I think very valid of like, this actually might be a really good valid argument of like, hey, here's where they were encroaching on your freedoms. Here's where, in the way of Tornado Cash, you shouldn't be like suing code necessarily, or the people writing code, but it's totally free for someone to use. So I just don't know if it's going to really engage the American political base where they want to like risk that. I think with CZ, very, very wealthy, powerful individual globally that, provides political capital and provides real capital, for future elections. I don't think these guys have that stack. I don't know them personally, but that's my feeling is I don't see a pardon coming through just because there's probably not a lot of upside from the president's side.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are real cypherpunks, right? They wrote code that allowed you to transact in Bitcoin anonymously. And not only did they do that, because there's, other people such as Samourai Wallet who did a similar function, but these guys were really given a big middle finger to the government at every junction. That was their marketing strategy, is to go on Twitter and say, hey, if you're a sanctioned Russian oligarch, come over here, come to us, use our software, and you're good. We got your back. And so they caused a big stir. And when Biden was doing Operation Choke Point 2.0, they had a huge target on their back. And so the arrest came then, right? And now it was finally time for sentencing because they took a plea deal back in the summer in July. They took a plea deal after they saw how the case was going against Tornado Cash. And they took the plea deal, and part of the agreement was they could not appeal any sentence at 5 years or below. And so they recommended that they get just a year and a day. That was their lawyer's recommendation to the court. But the judge came back, a 79-year-old. We have a 79-year-old judge dealing with Bitcoin and privacy and financial freedom on the internet. I don't really think that she's really too versed on what's going on there. But anyway, she came down hard and said, no, you're getting the full 5 years and a $250,000 fine. They're making an example. Right. And Ross Ulbricht, it's a decade-long story. He had the backing of the Libertarian Party and many Bitcoiners, and there was actually a large funding movement behind getting him freed, right? And with CZ, of course, his billions speak for themselves. But when it comes to these guys, they don't have that funding. They don't got a multi-billion-dollar exchange backing them. No, these guys were privacy fighters, right? Freedom fighters on the internet. And are we going to, as a Bitcoin community, be able to be loud enough to make a change here? It's up to us, right? Many more people are talking about Bitcoin dipping below 100K than they are these developers facing 5 years in prison, right? That's 5 years sucks. Like, that's a long time. And they just wrote some code. They were flagrant about it. They were loud about it. They definitely poked the bear a bunch. But again, we've got freedom of speech, right? And we should have freedom of financial privacy.
Yeah. The other big news here, first Bitcoin treasury company that I'm aware of, so I could be wrong here, but Sequans, first one to sell off some of their Bitcoin, right? So for those that don't know, Bitcoin treasury companies are not they've not been the hottest thing. They were the hottest thing for probably in the summertime, and then slowly but surely, a lot of them are seeing 90% drawdowns. It's been getting ugly, and Sequans, the first one out of France to actually sell their Bitcoin. So I don't know if that had to do with the earlier decision or the discussion you were talking about, with France, if that's going to be, their version of the SEC, if they're telling them that they have to sell if it's a lazy asset, as you said. But what are your thoughts on this? I mean, do Bitcoin treasury companies, is this now we don't see any movement for 5-10 years, or if Bitcoin spikes again, they're going to start flying? It feels, I think a lot of listeners are probably feeling the wrath. I know I am. But would love your guys' opinion if Bitcoin treasuries are going to survive, or are they on their way out?
Dude, it's tough. You look at these charts, and I mean, if you're in Bitcoin, you're looking at TradingView, you flip through the charts and you see the action on these things, and it looks like a shitcoin, right? It looks like something that has depreciated over years against Bitcoin, but they just sped run the whole entire thing. These things popped super high, and it's so funny how it all lined up with pretty much the Bitcoin conference back in May. Right. They were the talk of the town. Bunch of suit coiners walking around, the most packed rooms before the Bitcoin treasury companies. Everybody was coming out and announcing. Metaplanet was reaching all-time highs. And I mean, Metaplanet was trading at an MNAV of like 11x, right? Yeah. They were worth 11x their Bitcoin holdings. And now they're worth less than 1 MNAV, right? They're actually, we posted this week. Metaplanet is down over $30 million on their Bitcoin, right? Mm. That's crazy. And they're number 4. They're the 4th biggest. Yeah. And now they're at a loss for their Bitcoin. So yeah, it is not an easy narrative to sell right now. But these things, they keep going. These are the first real bending of the knee. Sequans here. They're a French company. Swan Bitcoin was actually the guys who are helping them lead their Bitcoin treasury initiative. And now they sold. They had 3,000 and they sold essentially 1,000 Bitcoin, right? And the thing is, they took out a lot of debt to do it, a lot of convertible notes. And their reasoning, Corey came out and said it's because just the debt burden was too high. The ratio wasn't right. They thought that they could sell more equity than they could. And instead they took out more. They bit off more than they could chew in terms of the convertible notes and the debt, and now they're the first one to sell, and that's a bad look, right? Like, the number one thing you don't do as a Bitcoin treasury company is sell your Bitcoin, because what's there? It's all narrative, right? And if you lose that, what do you have to stand on?
Yeah, we had Alexander Lazette, head of Bitcoin strategy at Capital B, yesterday on Treasury Talks. We do it every 4 p.m. ET on Thursdays, and it's very much narrative driven of never sell your Bitcoin. And he's like, you could make an argument from a technical perspective or from a financial perspective of okay, it makes sense to buy back stock and help boost your Bitcoin yield. But really, if markets are so sentiment driven, the moment you sell, you just seem like a weak hand. You didn't prepare right. Are you the right leadership team? There's other options to get leveraged Bitcoin, or what we really see is okay, hey, if you're planning right and you're the right team, you're going to be, what they're doing is 59 Bitcoin they have set aside and 4 million in cash so that they never have to sell at Capital B. And so what people are going to choose, I think, going forward is what's going to be the best balance sheet to go forward with, not for who much is buying the most Bitcoin, but who's also being conservative in how they approach it. Because, why would you not just buy strategy? Why would you not just buy, another premium option, which is also considered leverage Bitcoin, in a sense. And that's enough juice for what you'd want to squeeze.
I was just saying, Rob, pull up strategies too. I mean, they have I always say they're a big oil tanker when some of these smaller guys are like jet skis, right? So when a big wave does come, and I don't think we really saw a huge wave, we're still at 100K, 102 right now, right? So it's not like Bitcoin had a 90% drawdown, and you're starting to see some of the shakeout already. To me, it hasn't been fun holding MSTR. I'm sure there's plenty in the audience that are also there. So feel your pain. I'm right there with you. It's going to be interesting. Ben Workman used to be over with them, and Ben Workman had left now to Strive, and so. He was a big reason I looked at Sequans initially. And now that he's gone, I kind of was less bullish on that one overall. But yeah, I agree with you guys. It's going to be tough out there.
Look at this chart. Wow. I mean, in what good world could you possibly recommend this right now, right? I mean, it is just bled. And they had a reverse split. They were going to be kicked off. if they didn't reverse split, and now it's up to $6, whatever, but that's because they consolidated the shares, right? But I mean, it's tough. And this one, right? Oh, God. This was supposed to be the granddaddy of them all. And what's the narrative, right? What's the narrative? They say, okay, we just got to wait for our pipe deals to completely unlock and for all the unaligned investors to sell off at a loss, and then we're all in it together, right? But I mean, come on, guys. What you got to do is
a lot of these guys just jumped in too fast without thinking, and Sequans is an operational one too. So you think the operational ones would be last to kind of need to sell off because they have some ways to make revenue throughout. It's going to take like a Tesla to buy more. It's going to take, I think, a bigger name company to start to shift that narrative. I think with MSTR, it feels like they're almost cannibalizing themselves, right? With all the preferreds, people have been jumping on
preferreds. The preferreds are their way out. STRC stretch, the 10% dividend preferred, finally hit $100. That's the goal, right? And so every single cent above $100, they can sell shares to buy more Bitcoin with. And so Josh Mandel, of course, the guy who called 84K on we're supposed to have tomorrow, we're gonna have 444 Bitcoin. We're gonna 4x in massive 24 hours. But he was saying MSTR should just stop selling equity. They should stop selling their common, right? And just do the preferreds, and people would be fine with that. They got 640,000 Bitcoin, right? They got 3% of all the Bitcoin ever to exist. It's okay. You can chill on the Bitcoin yield, even though that's their main metric or whatever. You need to chill, slowly but surely accumulate, and stop bleeding the common shares. And I mean, it's last cycle, MSTR led Bitcoin. MSTR peaked before Bitcoin peaked. MSTR peaked a year ago now. It is November of last year is when it was when it hit $500. And here we are looking at Bitcoin on the weekly. Caleb Franzen. Do you guys know Caleb Franzen? He's one of my favorite technical analysis guys on Twitter. But yeah, I mean, we gotta hold this box here. We can't end the week below this box. Stay above 100K on the weekly close, and everything should be fine. We should be within the bull market bands, and it should be cool. Go over on the daily here. Yeah, right. This is the 365 daily moving average. If we stay, we're hugging it right now, or right on it. If we can stay above that, we're totally cool.
Yeah. Yeah. What happens if other countries join in with France, and they at the end of the day, if other countries start saying, hey, unrealized gains on Bitcoin, does that start, this government manipulation in the sense of Bitcoin, you think?
I mean, governments are getting desperate, right? And the more socialist leaning ones are going to go there first. And so we're going to see the Frances. But I mean, the French people, they're some of the most highly taxed people on the earth. And it's not getting better for anybody. It's just bringing those who actually do succeed down to suffer with everybody else who just lives off of baguettes and welfare, right? So it's not a winning strategy. It's just a way for these politicians to continue to live the high life at the expense of their people. It's brutal, man. No, unrealized gains taxes are not the way. And as we just saw, socialism is spreading, right? We just had a Democratic socialist elected to be mayor of New York City this week. And a funny point I brought up was we can hit up this.
Finish your thought. I was just pulling up some positive news. I feel like
yes. But just to complete my thought on New York, a lot of people are saying, like, how could New York City, the home of capitalism in America, elect a democratic socialist? Well, I mean, if you think about it, Wall Street has been the beneficiaries of some of the largest socialist programs in American history over the last 30 years, with all the bailouts, right? And all the money printing. Who wins the most from that? Wall Street. So yes, I guess it is just a giant center of socialism over there in New York City. But some people who are prominent, some optimism, and guys who just opened up a brand new office in Manhattan on Park Avenue. That itself is a giant middle finger. If you've ever seen the outline of the top of it, it looks like somebody giving a bird. And that's Jamie Dimon signaling to the rest of his competitors over there in Manhattan. But they are bullish. They're more bullish than Bitcoin Twitter. JPMorgan sees Bitcoin reaching 170,000 in the next 6 to 12 months. And they're saying that leverage has been reset, improving volatility relative to gold, and market correction that took us down 20% sets us up with a great base to rocket, go up 70% from where we are today. Do you boys agree? Are you guys bullish?
This is one of those times where people get caught off guard. I think they're absolutely correct with like leverage wipeout. We saw that, a couple of weeks ago, like massive leverage wipeout that historical, nothing's been seen before. And is this something, a month from now, 2 months from now, we look back and we're like, wait, this is historically a bullish time. It's not an election like we had, last year, but it is a time where usually stocks, run up towards the end of the year. I think someone like Trump also seeing the Mamdani win, he's seeing the political shift to like Democrats winning. He's like saying, oh, like I'm going to go out and talk. I'm going to go out and push certain deals. I'm going to talk about tariffs in a certain way where, stock prices, people get that like animal spirits. I think like the last thing, Jerome Powell, the last speech Jerome Powell had at the FOMC meeting, it was a little bit deflating. People weren't, getting the impression that cuts were definitely coming. They were going to take a very measured approach. So I feel like there's a good reason why sentiment is down on crypto Twitter. I think it hasn't been the bull run, has been the year that people are looking for. But as we're looking at, institutionalization of Bitcoin, more adoption, I think you're having less of these pops, but also less of the sharp drawdowns. We're seeing a good bounce in the 99 range this week. People are looking to buy, people are setting limit orders, right when it goes below 100K. And I think this is a time where, not financial advice, but potentially people are going to look back in 2 months and say, wait, no matter if it's a Bitcoin 4-year cycle, just historically with stocks and with certainly high flying stocks that, like tech and AI and whatever, towards the end of the year, going through November, December is when those like to run. I mean, watch out for the end of December, obviously, for like tax loss harvesting. But I do think, I don't know, be very careful what you're doing because it is very volatile right now. But I do think this is something where think simply, is this a bullish time in overall markets? And I think the answer is yes.
We were joking before the show, like when the screenshots start coming out, that's when you zig when others zag, right? And we got to be smarter because all these hedge funds, all these people with the big money, they have sentiment analysis, right? And so they're gonna see everyone talking positive, and everyone was shooting those Uptober memes that were coming out, right? Now it's Upvember, hopefully, we're getting to that phase. But I mean, this is the beauty of the markets, right? People have the opportunity to see what the sentiment is. And when the big money comes one direction, it's always when you're least expected, Jody. So I agree with you. I've just been dollar cost averaging. That way I don't need to look. And it's, for me, it's just like the safest way that I do it. Again, got to hammer home, not financial advice for anyone. I'm certainly down on a lot of these treasury companies and Bitcoin myself. So we're just like you guys. So anyone listening, we're right there with you.
All right. Well, just to put it all in perspective, can either of you tell me the price we were at 2 years ago today? Don't look.
Not gonna look.
2 years.
No, first week of November, 2024. 23.
I don't even
first
want
week
to
of
embarrass
November.
myself here. I don't know. I'd guess like
30.
I'm gonna go 30, 40,000.
All right, you're right. Yeah, 35. We're at $35,000. You're right. This is pre-Bitcoin treasury craze. This is pre-Bitcoin ETFs. We still don't know if we were going to get the ETFs, right? That was the big talk at the time. There was a fake Cointelegraph tweet that sent the market up 15% one morning and then crashed back down because they said it was approved before it was and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, 2 years ago today, we were at 35,000 and now we're at 102, right? And 100K has been this huge round number that we've been dreaming about for so long, since 2021, and now we're finally here, and still nobody's happy, right? But for any asset to go from 35,000 to 102,000 in 2 years, that's 185% gain, right? With any other asset, people would be thrilled. And, they couldn't hold their excitement just to they would be sharing screenshots of that, right? I did this in 2 years. But no, here in Bitcoin, we have short attention spans, and we're used to lots of volatility to the upside. But now we're experiencing a little to the downside, and people are all upset. But no, perspective, we got a lot of the things we wanted. We got the ETFs. There's lots of companies holding Bitcoin. We got a president who's quote unquote the Bitcoin president, and yet we're here at 102, and people think that it's about to all come down. Not so much, guys.
What are your thoughts on that, Rob? Do you think we're out of that heavy volatility time frame where we're not going to get those 80% drawdowns? We're not going to get the 80% spikes. I know we had Adrian Morris on a few weeks back, and he was saying, I think we're at the stage where we're stair-stepping up, we're stair-stepping down. It's starting to mirror gold a little bit more, right? And you're starting to see just these swings are coming less, right? And the variance is tightening up over time. So I'd say I'm on that page personally, but would love your take. Do you think if we're going to see a 30K day, anytime soon?
Yeah, I do think that the volatility is dampening as Bitcoin grows, right? I mean, we did just see Nvidia, what is now like a $5 trillion asset, move 5% in a day, which was pretty insane, right? So it is possible, but Bitcoin grows as in accordance to a power law, not an exponential. What Nvidia is doing right now is growing like an exponential, and that goes straight up, and it has to come back down to earth. Whereas a power law, it grows gradually over time, and it gets flatter over time in terms of the upward trajectory, but it's sustainable. And so do I think that those 80% drawdowns are a thing of the past? Yeah. I mean, this bull run, we haven't had a single like 35% drawdown. And though we had about 7, 8, 9, 10 of those in 2017, right? And we had a 50% drawdown in the 2021 bull run. So, I mean, imagine if we fell 50% today, right? Like people would literally give up for good. No, we've entered into a new time. The institutions are here, and this attracts a larger pool of capital. It's a larger addressable market once you have a more stable, less volatile asset as we have today. So people are used to crazy excitement, but you got to temper your expectations and just realize that you are holding the most scarce asset in the world. It is going to protect your wealth, protect your purchasing power, understand what you own, and don't get bored. That's the benefit of Bitcoin. With fiat and these other investments, you have to spend half your time making your money and then the other half learning how to invest your money. With Bitcoin, you make your money and then you save it, and you're good. Come back 5 years later and you're much more wealthier than you are today.
I think a big factor too is also opportunity cost. I think what people are seeing is, hey, here's all these like IREN, here's NBIS, here's, NVIDIA, obviously, as you mentioned. And one thing I think is such a big factor is just like that FOMO of like, I'm really angry about my position in Bitcoin because I'm not getting the gains and it's not continuing to rip. It's not what expectations were. And the thing is, I think there is, I think when people should poke holes, not in like an AI bubble and say it's a bubble or not bubble, but I do think there's going to be a time where if OpenAI announces a partnership and it's a $500 billion partnership with someone, where's that money coming from, right? Like they announced with Oracle and that was like a big thing. Oracle stock popped immediately, but how and then like we've seen like subsequent pops with everyone that's announcing these like AI cloud deals, or compute infrastructure, but they can't keep moving unless there's actually velocity of that money actually moving back and forth and people are getting paid on these contracts. And I think eventually like any good trader, market making firm, hedge fund is going to start shorting those spikes. So like they're going to not say AI is, completely a bubble, but they're going to say, hey, this is overvalued. This is overbought based on news that's not really, it's contracts that haven't been paid out. No one's paid the invoice on any of these. We want to like bring the price back down to like a reasonable level.
I'm trying to find this image, but it's like the 7 companies are all paying each other basically, right? In any chart I've ever seen, doesn't matter what asset it is, except for NVIDIA. Because I bought NVIDIA early, very early, thanks to one of my buddies. But I ended up selling, up 3x. I was like, okay, this is great. And then I ended up buying back in. And then about 6 months ago, I was like, this can't just keep going up forever. But it has. But I will not be surprised when it has some drawdown, when the news, like you were saying, Jody, like anytime they say OpenAI or NVIDIA partnership, any stock will pop like 5%. And I don't think that is healthy long term. But I do agree with you. I think people are, always looking at opportunity cost of capital and seeing where they can put their money for the biggest gain. And we're in this trading, environment, right? I think everyone has become an options trader. Everyone's trying to get the quick lottery tickets quickly, and that never ends well for a lot of people. So I think you're right. I think there's a lot of distraction away from Bitcoin right now, and eventually people will love it again when it's 140. Right? It always happens.
Yeah, we live in a gambler's economy, a gambler's world, right? There was a post that went up just talking about the billions each year, the growth of gambling in America, right? I think we're at $148 billion wagered so far in 2025. Absolutely insane.
I didn't know if you were ready for that.
No,
I'll pull it out while we wait here. Yeah, I mean, you see that, and then funny enough, obviously,
right here.
Awesome. But the NBA had their FBI moment, right? I think a lot of people, myself included, have limited my sports betting. Not that I didn't think that sports were rigged for a while, but I think that people are starting to look at that. But to your point, I mean, you look at things like Hyperliquid or really anyone doing these 40x trades. Not going to call out anyone on the show here doing that, but it happens, and people are going. So I'll let you pull up that screen, Rob.
Yeah, it's ready. 2018, $6.6 billion wagered in U.S. sports, doubled in 2019, 21 billion in 2020. And now we are 7x that, right? I mean, it is insane. And like, think about that money. That's money that could go into Bitcoin for long-term savings. But no, instead it's spent on the over under 2 points for the guy, the seventh man on the bench for the Mavericks. So it's sad, right? People don't understand that we are in a point of history where the money printer is running hot and they have no other option other than to keep it running hot, or else the whole entire fiat debt Ponzi collapses upon itself. So people it's funny how human intuition tells them instinctually, oh my God, I've got to do something, right? I'm not keeping up, right? Like the pace is moving so quickly, prices are getting so out of control. I need to do something. And when you combine that with dopamine and entertainment and fast moving charts and games, it can fry your brain. And gambling addiction is one of the worst, right? Because it's embarrassing, and a lot of people who get, I think like 10% of people who get gambling addicted, they commit crimes in order to maintain that addiction. So it's just a spiral that you don't want to get into. And that's why the big orange coin that is less volatile now than it was a couple of years ago, but is still just as powerful in terms of protecting your purchasing power, is more important than ever.
Yeah. I would say on this, sports betting, we've talked about this. I've talked about this a lot. It's just, there's no edge. Like, you're competing with everyone in the United States, or, every guy in New Jersey that's like, looks like he came off The Sopranos, but he's been doing this for 40 years and has a good, like, emotional edge to him, can understand when to bet, when not to bet. And you have nothing when, like, you're just, getting excited. And I think there's this very nihilistic, like you said, Rob, you're jumping in and, like, you feel like you need to catch up. You can't afford a house. You want to get, 50 grand for a down payment, 100 grand for a down payment on a house. And that's what the culture is now, of like people chasing this. I was reading a quick article like yesterday about June Lee, who was an ESPN journalist, went out and started morning announcements. And he refuses now to do any of these big deals with these sports betting platforms that are, going out and, like, they're spending a ton of money. Like, now they're like DraftKings and, others, FanDuel can go out and do more of the direct, like, daily fantasy sports betting. They're going out and spending a lot of money. So you even had the Chauncey Billups article saying, hey, FBI arrests Chauncey Billups for gambling. sponsored by
Yeah,
like a
I thought that was
Japanese
a
channel.
joke at first.
Yeah, it's the biggest like satire, and so like they're preying on that. And I think if you're trying to give better personal finance advice, it's like see how they're just like sucking into your finances, because there is a point of where Bitcoin price can go up or down. But if you're dollar cost averaging, if you're holding it, especially holding it cold storage, that price can also go back up. If you put that same amount of money into a game, at the end of an hour, it's done. It's either you're doubling or you're gone. And so there's no chance of like actually having a year to ride out a dip or 3 months to ride out a dip or waiting for the next rate cut. That money's gone once the game is over if you did not win.
Yeah, but it all stems back from, this idea that the money printer is forever. And that's why people are feeling desperate, right? You're working hard. There's a chart I got to find, but it was showing salaries in relation to housing prices. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen that, but like salaries have gone up very slowly where housing prices have just gone up astronomical. And, the generation above us, I've heard less of it, but you used to hear like this generation's lazy. And it's like, no, guys, like we're fucked. And I saw this tweet the other day, and Jody, you said you saw it too, the Monopoly woman that was explaining Monopoly is the real life game. Like this older generation owns all the property. Now our generation is walking across the board and we're paying taxes. We're paying every single time we move, you're paying. And so where do you find the truth? Where do you find a way out? And for many people, and for myself included, Bitcoin does seem like the truth when there's 21 million of them ever, right? They're not going to continue to find, even gold goes up 2% every single year, right? So there's no better asset, but we just got to get people to start to understand that.
And I mean, it's funny you bring up Monopoly. I mean, Monopoly, I think it was created during the 1930s, after the great, of course, bull run of the 1920s, and then the collapse of the Great Depression, and people were pissed off and people were leaning towards communism then, right? And so that's the feeling in this country. The youth feel as if they've been screwed. I mean, in the 70s, you could work a summer job and go to Harvard and pay off your tuition.
Yep.
Good luck doing that today, right? People want an answer, and they realize that the game has sort of been rigged, and they're only right to feel that. But at the end of the day, you got to also realize some of these solutions you're asking for are going to be a lot worse than what we have already. So it'd be really good if you could just save in Bitcoin and protect yourself that way.
Jody, I was trying to pull up the website again, because I know now we have close to 2,000 listeners, and a lot of them didn't hear in the beginning that we are giving away sats. So we should do a quick pause here if you want to re-explain what we're doing and where to go to win 21,000 sats. We'll be doing this every Friday, and we're going to up that too. So we're going to get some sponsors in here to we're paying this out of our pockets here to get the show started, but we have some sponsors lined up that will increase the amount of sats each week. So Jody, take it away, my friend.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're about halfway through the show, or a little bit over halfway. So if you go to 21rates.com/stack, this is where you log in, create a free account, do a Google Auth, or just type in your email, and then drop in the code, hit enter, giveaway, and we're going to be like paying out via Lightning. It's going to happen it's been happening in like 2 seconds. It's incredibly fast. I think it also makes me more bullish on the Lightning network and adoption. And I think companies like Strike and Zeus Wallet and Rhino are all like building the much better tech and foundation for Lightning to work. So what we're going to do is drop this code here. If you see at the bottom of the screen, 21K SAT code is Samourai. Do note that the spelling is different than what you expect with Samourai, something that threw me off a little bit. So it is not your classic Samourai spelling, but go to 21rates.com/stack, type in Samourai in the live stream code box, and you'll get some Lightning sats sent to your wallet if you are the winner. We'll select it in about 8 minutes.
Nice. This is awesome. You can only do this with Bitcoin, right? I mean, what this enables is amazing stuff. I mean, we put up videos of people opening doors with Lightning payments, right? Unlocking locks. You can feed chicken with Lightning payments, or you can win a giveaway on the Friday Stack with us. It's pretty amazing.
There you go. There's the direct spelling for those that want to enter. I just pulled up the Kobayashi letter, one of my favorite accounts, I'd say, on Twitter. Fear and greed index. We are in extreme fear, which, as I was talking about before, you kind of want to zig when they zag. Not financial advice here, but any takes on this, Rob? Do you think there's a little more room here on the left to go to max extreme fear? But where's your head at? Where do you think that is this, validated right now?
Bull markets climb a wall of worry. If everybody thought that we were going to the moon tomorrow, then that's when you want to be scared. And then you want to take some chips off the table in terms of stocks and whatnot. No, extreme fear for the stock market, for Bitcoin's an extreme fear too. There's so many bullish things ahead of us for 2026 to make sure that these markets rip. Of course, we've got the constant money printer, right? Jerome Powell is going to be replaced in 6 months or so. And Trump is going to put in his boy, and they're going to just rip the money printer, right? We've got hopefully this whole trade situation with tariffs will find some sort of a resolution in the coming months ahead. And we've got the 2026 midterms. Trump is going to bribe the voters, right? I mean, there's just no way around it. Whether it's giving rebate checks back from the tariffs, or Stimmy's coming back, baby. Yeah, we're probably going to see it. There's lots of incentives for the Republicans to follow these same socialist sort of tactics, where the more you give out, the more the votes you get, right? So I think going into these midterm elections, replacement of Jerome Powell, the extension of the Bitcoin cycle, and markets climb a wall of worry. So don't be a wussy, dude.
Don't be a wussy. So big segment we're going to be rolling out, Bitcoiner of the Week. So we don't have a full segment laid out, but who you guys choosing? Who's the one, some person in the industry? It could be a podcaster. It could be obviously someone that's could be a president, could be a CEO, could be Samourai. Who you guys choosing?
Going with, I'll go first just because I don't have too much to say here, but any Opendoor holders, it went down 25% overnight. But Rob, I just looked, popped back up, so it's only down 4%. But Kaz, I guess it wasn't a week. I think it was a few weeks back. We had Eric Jackson on our show, who's been leading the Opendoor army. I said they should start accepting Bitcoin. I'll say that I had 100% to do with the decision, but they actually did go ahead and they're accepting Bitcoin now for Opendoor. So I'll give it to Kaz. Seeing some of these companies, in the TradFi space that are coming into Bitcoin is exciting. I think just seeing some of these bigger companies making it more ubiquitous and proliferate kind of across all these different companies. So I'll give it to Kaz myself.
All right, Jody, you go.
Rob wants to bring it home. He's got one.
Yeah. This is a hard one because it's been so much negative sentiment in the right, in the space. Give me 2 minutes. Give me 1 minute.
Cool. Yeah, no, go ahead. Look, I got a team to shout out. I would like to give a shout out to the people over at The Rage, therage.co. They are journalists, sort of which this space desperately needs. Of course, we run Bitcoin News. We're a media company. We keep you up to date with all the headlines with ETFs and JPMorgan accepting Bitcoin as collateral. And we do, of course, write articles about the Samourai case and whatnot. But the people over at The Rage, they are really on top of things like the privacy cases and the way the government overreach and doing the hard journalism, issuing FOIA requests to ask the government what's going on with the strategic Bitcoin reserve. Where is the Bitcoin? Why would you give us an audit yet? They've been sending out reporters to the courtroom to stay on top of the Samourai case and are giving videos recorded right outside. So, I mean, these guys are great team. No ads, 100% reader funded. Go over, check out their website, send them a few sats, and cheers to real journalism in this space as it's desperately needed, and also carrying that torch, right? This is a cypherpunk movement. We are about financial freedom and being able to be a sovereign in this world of collectivism. So yeah, go help, go support the Rage and all the great things they're doing.
Jody, you got one? I got something to add on to security, but I'll let you give your Bitcoiner of the week here.
Yeah, so I'm going to say our friend, our boy Kyle Knight at Bitcoin Culture Hub. I think that what's very relevant about this is Mamdani got elected. Somebody else on Twitter, I can't remember who it was. I think they were quote tweeting Eric Bolhunas from Bloomberg, the Bloomberg ETF guy. Butchered that last name. Sorry about that, Eric. But they were saying essentially Mamdani is a solution, and the opposite side of the solution isn't necessarily Bitcoin. It's like just a different prescription to that same problem. Like people feel they are left out. They don't own assets. They don't have, New York real estate. They don't have, any light of like paying for college or buying a house, etc. So somebody that's helping this young generation that voted, more heavily for Mamdani than others is someone, Kyle. He's building Bitcoin Culture Hub. We were on his spaces last week, and I think he's very receptive to learning, what's the messaging, what's the communication, what do people in, Gen Z value, and how can we address these problems of like nihilism and like, euphoric kind of like desperation of gambling, and into something where it's like, hey, let's build long-term value. Let's not make Bitcoin just about, chasing a number, but let's also make it about like fun and culture and, almost like a grounded, back to first principles roots of like, look, here's how the generations before have screwed you with getting away from the gold standard and printing a lot of money. Let's rebuild society and finance the right way. So shout out to Kyle. We'll try to get him on the show, or we'll do a space with him soon. But I love seeing a younger generation person being excited and trying to figure out how to educate their peers.
Yeah. I wanted to bring up something. I know this is a Bitcoin show, but this has just been insane. I've had a one buddy texting me about Zcash for a while. Like I said, this chart that never ends well here. But
no.
Talking about security, Rob, you sound. I'm hearing the boos over there. What's your hot take here on Zcash?
This is a Silicon Valley pump and dump. They weren't able to get their VC funded alts to really make a move this cycle. So now they had this united front starting a couple months ago where guys like Naval and everybody else and Amson are saying, yeah, Zcash is the way. Like all these alts are useless. This has real utility, security. I mean, there's a lot of sketchy stuff when it comes to Zcash. People say that, I think its headquarters is very close to the CIA. There's some people say that they worked with the Mossad as well. 20% of every, I think, transaction or purchase goes to the developers of Zcash. I mean, there's just a lot of things that are just sort of weird about it. I mean, if you want a privacy coin, I guess go Monero. I would advise Monero before I advise Zcash. It's done this crazy pump that makes absolutely no sense, especially with all the Silicon Valley guys just rah-rahing it for months. It definitely seems like a exit liquidity scam, and that chart doesn't look like it will end well.
Yeah, it looks pretty fearful. Jody, you got a take on that?
Yeah, I think there's like, what's stopping the next, zero knowledge tech coin from coming in and replacing it? I think there's, with Bitcoin, there's proven to be adoption. You have the president talking about it. You have countries investing in it. I think with the tech side more, it's like it can easily be replaced. And then you also think that there's going to be, that's an area where you almost think like governments are going to want like a heavier hand in it. And I think Zcash obviously could stay outside of it, but like Rob is alluding to, you're really relying on the developers, you're relying on the founders. And if they're getting paid a percentage, there's just this, I think, misalignment on, that you'd rather use a tool that's a privacy preserving tool within Bitcoin, even though it's gone through some lawsuits, than you would this private token that, like anything else, can be inflated or they can change the total supply.
And the thing about all these privacy coins is that your OPSEC is only as good as your off-ramp. So if you have some circular economy where everybody's using Zcash and you can buy everything that you need in Zcash, then you might have your privacy preserved. But as soon as you need to convert it into Bitcoin or Tether or anything else, you're exposing yourself. So, I mean, these privacy coins are great in theory, and if you have a small community that likes to trade them with each other, but when it comes to actually doing things with it, your privacy probably isn't going to be kept that private.
Right. I mean, and others have tried to create with Bitcoin Cash. Other people are trying to make the new Bitcoin, but there's only one Bitcoin. Maybe, I don't know if we want to wrap it up here, but Ray Dalio kind of encapsulated all of our sentiment here around what is happening with the economy. He says the empire can no longer borrow the money to repay its debts, printing lots of new money, which devalues the currency, raises inflation. Living standards start to decline, leading to the rise of political extremism, as we've seen earlier this year, kind of peaked, and people are trying to cool down the temperature. But I think a lot of the initial challenges that people are facing still remain, right? And so we just saw with Mamdani, populist leaders emerge, pledging to take control and bring order. And then the first comment, of course, is Bitcoin is the lifeline here. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting times. But throughout history, how many times have people said, you know, we're living in crazy times and you feel like the world's ending? The world only ends once, right? So I'll leave it with that. But Rob, Jody, any closing statements here? And we can share again the way to win 21,000 sats here in just a second to wrap it up.
21race.com/stack code Samourai. Relevant. We got the Samourai Wallet we're talking about. We're going to be following that. If it was Polymarket right now, I don't know if I would be betting on on them getting a pardon, even though I think Bitcoin community should definitely rally around them, not and make sure that you realize, hey, like during election years, Raw suddenly very important or Tornado Cash important. But if it's not an election year and people aren't talking about it, oh, okay, well, you were somewhat played by what they were telling you to think, what they were telling you to push. So I think, yeah, being objective and like, I stand by these principles, whether there's an election cycle or not, I think is very important. So we'll keep following that. That's why we're using it as the code today. Go to 21race.com/stack, code Samourai. And then, yeah, hit up Bitcoin news. We're going to be doing these every Friday and probably do them around like 12 Eastern. And I think it's been a good one. Rob, I'll take it to you.
Yeah, I agree with the Samourai case. It's up to us, right? Let's not let this fade into the background. Ross Ulbricht was able to be freed after a decade in prison because the community never let it go. And the Trumps are heavily involved with this community now. The Eric Trump, of course, has American Bitcoin, and they are mining Bitcoin. They are buying Bitcoin. And so he's doing lots of conversations with different people in the community. If anybody has his ear, why not bring it up? Say, what's going on with Samourai? These guys are privacy advocates. We believe in privacy. You guys used Bitcoin when you were debanked. You know what it's like to be at the wrong end of the stick. Let's stand up for the people who are actually trying to protect the rights of the people. So yeah, don't let this story fade into the background. Keep it up. Let's keep free Samourai. # free Samourai.
Well, Rob, we may have an opportunity to do just that next week. So little teaser out there. That is a great question to bring up when we talk with them. So thank you everyone for listening in. Had over 2,000 on our first ever go at this, right? So bumping into walls a bit here, but like I thought this went pretty smoothly, and excited for next week. We'll get it all smoothed out. Maybe have an easier code word next time. But tell your friends about this. It's gonna be fun. That we'll do every single Friday, and if it goes really well, maybe we'll add a few days here. But appreciate it. Everyone have a great weekend, and stack sats.
Stack stats. Friday stack. Let's go, boys. Cheers.
Stack.
This was awesome.
Cheers.